Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? God, that was high pitch this morning, wasn't it? Morning, Momo. Morning, Baggy. Jules, Andrew, FTNet, Robert. How are you? So it's Friday, finally. We had some big news yesterday. Morning, Marco. The news yesterday basically was the CPI, which came out at 0.4. So we had a positive monthly CPI. The year-on-year came out as forecast. So it's contradictory, obviously, to what we had with the PPI numbers. So a lot of the time, the PPI and the CPI tend to go in line with each other. But this time round, we had a slightly bullish monthly to go along with the bearish monthly PPI. So a little bit of a mixed signal. Unemployment claims up again, which is obviously negative for the dollar. Any of you guys that have got access to this new members area, I know there's a few of you that are in there already. I have done a big update on this yesterday. You might have seen, I don't know if you've been poking around, but the logic with this sentiment section now is completely different. Why is that not loaded? What is going on there? Oh, there we go. I don't know why that took so long to load. So basically, the logic now works in a very different way. So this has all been updated basically to make it a little bit more realistic. I was trying to be a bit too clever with it, basically. So basically, if you get forecast the same as the actual, there is no impact, which is basically what it is. If the forecast is higher, it's probably better actually to do this on the fundamental analysis page because it gives the explanations there as well. So, for example, with GDP, it's bullish when it is higher. So if the actual is bigger than the forecast, that is bullish. With unemployment rate, if the actual is bigger than the forecast, that is bearish. So it's bullish when higher or bearish when higher. So basically what it does now is if it's as forecast, we get no impact. If it is higher than forecast and it's bullish when higher, it becomes bullish. Yeah. If the deviation, we got a differential, or rather differential, not a deviation. If the differential of the actual versus the forecast is above the last 7 averages of the differential, it gets very bullish. So basically what it's doing is it's looking at a differential analysis and saying non-farm employment change, on average, we are usually around about 14.5 points different if we are different to forecast. So, for example, with non-farm employment change, if it was bigger than 14.5, it would either be very bullish or very bearish. If it was a deviation, but under that number, it would just be bullish or bearish. Yeah. So what it's doing now is it's giving you a kind of impact statement, if you like, where we can say, right, CPI number came out. It was forecast 2.3. It came out as 2.8. If it was a 2.4, it would be bullish, but it's not. It's a 2.8, so it's very bullish because it's way bigger than on average we get when we get a deviation on that, when we get a differential. Yeah. So you can see basically a little bit clearer now if you go into something like the deep dives, not the deep dives, sorry, into the overviews. And you look at the dollar, you can see instantly, are we recently with all news events, bullish or bearish dollar? Yeah. I've also incorporated into the deep dive analysis categorization. So if you want to just see what the interest rates are quickly, you can now do that in the deep dive as well. So we've got the main refinancing rate, Euro, New Zealand, Aussie, pound, yen, US, CAD. Yeah, so it just gives you all the latest ones. If you quickly want to go, what's the interest rate on the pound? Bang, you can see it very easily now. So you can do that with everything to do with, inflation, all the inflation numbers, GDP numbers. Yeah. So it's all categorized now as well. There you go. So coming up today, we got GDP for the pound, which has come out already. Forecast actual, no impact. Yeah. So nothing basically to write home about there. It's the first time in quite a while we've actually had a no impact event on that. If you look at the pounds this morning, you see the ADRs here. There are no ADR extensions this morning. Pound, not really making any reaction to that news. We've got a slight bull move coming in. Whoops, wrong one. On the pound. So, but obviously because there is no deviation from forecast, there is no impact. Therefore, we should not see a lot of movement. Yeah. So that's this morning's news. This afternoon, we've got Michigan at 3 o'clock. So I'll be on at 2:30 as usual this afternoon. So we'll be on when the Michigan numbers come out. We'll see what happens. The Michigan numbers generally are hit and miss. So we'll see how we go with those. But sometimes it really, really moves. Sometimes it just doesn't at all. So we'll see how we go. But that's what we've got coming up this afternoon. Looking at the moves this morning, first bar is in on the DAX. It closed at the high. So the EA did not take that trade because it closed at the high, which means that there's a high probability you'll gap up and get a limit order placement, which we don't want. We want a breakout, not a limit order to pull back into. So, and we've gone into that pre-market high, yesterday's high as well. So there's an immediate yesterday's high rejection going on. So that's a really nice range this morning. So that's going to be your 2-bar range, which we'll take in 3 minutes. If it breaks to the upside, it's a confirmation that we're breaking through yesterday's high, which will give us loads of room. So we got to move all the way up to Wednesday's high, which is high of the week. So that is your high of the week. That is last week's high. So there's your upside resistance. So if we do break that yesterday's high, assuming the stops are going to go in roughly 50% on that range today, we should have a nice easy 2-hour upside target. Downside break, obviously, you'd be looking at yesterday's low. Very easy. And you got last week's low down there as well. Actually, is that? Where are we? Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, so that's last week's low. So there's your ranges. So 2 minutes left on that. We'll see where we end up going. Decent day yesterday. So as you can see, yesterday was a stop out on the short on the DAX. Then the DAX broke long up to target and stopped out with a small profit on the second part of the trade. The Dow could not make money on the Dow yesterday. Literally, the thing just went parabolic. Straight up to 1 ADR. Literally, 1 ADR with not one pullback. Yeah, there was the break. Straight to target within 15 minutes, like that. And then we just basically went parabolic straight to 1 ADR. So there's a really good example of why we monitor everything by average daily range. Yeah, we got to the average daily range, it exhausted. Yeah, at the average daily range, because that's on average what we tend to do. It's just the speed it got there yesterday was unbelievable. So beautiful trade on the Dow yesterday, just cleaned up. NASDAQ was a bit more choppy. We had a short trigger, which stopped out. We had a long trigger, which stopped out, and then it broke to the upside. But the upside break was only 1 hour anyway, so very, very difficult to make money yesterday on the NASDAQ. I was unfortunate with the stop out on it. Literally 3 or 4 pips. So basically, it was a 50% retracement pullback. And gold was a bit choppy as well at the open, but did manage to get onto that. Yeah, that was the gold break yesterday. Didn't really go anywhere, so just got a little bit of profit out of that. So, but yeah, all good yesterday, pretty much. Right, so we'll see how we go with this next range coming in. Candle's about to close. Hopefully that's within tolerance. Yeah. Okay, so there's your ORB 2-bar range. So we're either looking at a break of yesterday's high and confirmation with a push up to weekly highs, or we're looking at coming down to test yesterday's high on a short break. So there's a couple of support areas, potential support areas you want to look at. Not massively clean, but it's not bad. So there's your downside support at 1R. You've got this little area down here, and you've got this low here, which has been supportive as well. And that's obviously yesterday's low. So there's a couple of little areas that might cause stickiness on the way down, where you may want to start looking at taking profit just in case it just goes into rotation ahead of this afternoon's news, but it's not a lot of it. So there we go. Morning mumble. So can we access the website now? If you know how to, but no. I'll give you a rundown of it in a minute, what the plan is, and what I'm planning to do to kind of launch it, if you like. Why did you use the last 7 of the average? Just because the differential analysis uses the last year's worth, basically, if it's got it. Or does it? Yeah, uses the last year's worth if it's got it. I don't know why the quarterly's only using singles. There's no differentials on interest rates, so they're useless. But yeah, so it uses unemployment claims, for example. There you go. So it's using the last 52 because unemployment claims come out weekly. This is, think of it like a moving average. So when you're using a 12-period moving average, it's slower to react. When you're using less periods, in the case of that 7, I don't know why I picked 7. I just did. I was meant to pick 6, but I think I put 7 in and thought, oh, screw it, that'll do. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. What it is this is long and 6 or 7 is shorter. So what I'm looking for when I'm looking at, is this outcome bullish or very bullish based on what's going on at the moment in the world in the last sort of 4 to 6 months. It's much the same as any indicator out there. You can fine tune this to do whatever you want, but what's right, what's wrong? I've picked roughly 6 months as an average. So I'm looking at what in the last 6 months, have we been overshooting or undershooting unemployment? Have we been overshooting, undershooting interest rate decisions, retail sales, GDP? If you look at the last year, that is obviously a much broader number, and you're going to get a bigger differential. I mean, I could put a drop down to fine tune all this, but I mean, what you'll end up doing is just fine tuning this, getting different numbers here, but you won't have a clue whether that is good or bad. What we're saying with news is it a big impact? Yes or no, right? Absolutely no impact. We probably won't move very much. This is not what we were expecting, so we might get a little bit of a movement. This is way different to what we were expecting. The market is likely to need to reposition itself. Yeah. So that's why I chose sort of 6-7 months worth of data. There's no real logic behind it. It's just more recent than not. If you pick it too short and go, how does it compare to the last month or the last 2 months worth, you're really compacting it. Yeah. So all we want to know is, are we likely to get movement off of it? That's it. This is forming part of the news trading strategy that I've been trading for quite a bit on prop, which is kind of like an ORB type strategy on prop. And this is part of what's going to be taught in the education section, which I'll cover in a minute. But that is kind of are we expecting a move? Yes, we're expecting a very bullish move off of this. So we can then look at what happens after the initial spike candle. And if we have done A, we can expect B. If it's done B, we can expect C or D. And it basically gives you an indicator for what you should expect to happen within the 15 to 20 minutes after the news event has hit. So we're not trading this news. And somebody said to me yesterday, I've been watching your economic calendar. Why does it not update straight away? Doesn't matter. We don't need it to, because if this updates 1 second after the news or updates 5 or 10 minutes after the news, doesn't matter. We're not trading immediately as soon as this news hits. We're waiting for the market to absorb the news, put the initial spike in, and then we can decide what to do with that information. We need the market to react so that we know whether it's going to unreact or react further. And this will give us an indication of what to expect, basically. So these are going to be the strong signals. If it's very, very bearish, i.e. if the deviation on the forecast is way bigger than normal, we should expect a much bigger than normal reaction from the market to this, because they'll have to readjust all their portfolios. So that's why it's 6 months, but 7 months. But yeah, roughly. How's the M1 ORB going? I haven't been trading it this week, last week either, because I've been doing this. It's working. It's fine. I've built it. It's running. I haven't got it running on my accounts at the moment. So, yeah. Right. Let's see how we're doing with the DAX. We're not. So there's your 15-minute ORB. We're not doing anything at the minute. 20 minutes in. So chances are, excuse me, we're not going to break until sort of 30, 40 minutes into the session at the moment because we've got no volume whatsoever. So market's just ambling around today. Dangerous because obviously we might amble around up there again and then amble around down there again, then amble around up there again. If we go into rotation, we go into rotation. There's nothing we can do about it. So these types of days is your call. They're either going to be those grindy days where it just kind of does this, very much like gold yesterday. This is what I class as a grindy day. Yeah. So we grind around. We move, but we don't move very far and we take a bloody long time to do it. Yeah. The Dow yesterday is a parabolic breakout. That's what we want. Want that every day. You can't help but make a fortune, can you? But it doesn't happen like that. So these types of days where we start slow, they can be good days because they just continue slowly, but they continue with directional bias. So we'll see. But, you know, if you're sitting here 30, 40 minutes into the session, you might just want to go and do something else. Up to you. It'll either work or it won't. You know, this is the thing with trading. As long as your risk reward is in place, there's your risk. Rewards down there. If it does it, does it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There's nothing you can do to control it. So, so ADRs today, there aren't any. We got loads of weekly range extensions. On the monthly side of things, we're on the 12th of the month, so we're getting close to halfway through the month. You can see we've got some very big movement on the Aussie CAD. That's the main mover so far. That Canadian dollar got absolutely trounced with its news. It's had nothing but bad news. The dollar's been obviously receiving bad news. Morning, Michael. So that has driven the CAD down, and the Aussie has just gone parabolic. It's had a beautiful, beautiful breakout that hasn't stopped. This is a really big divergence on RSI here. We are just tapping into that sort of 75 level over and over and over again. The market just continuing to go up. So I haven't got it with me, but one of the lessons is going to be about elastic band theory, and I'm going to actually use an elastic band to demonstrate how far this thing's going to snap back. When this comes back down, it's going to come back down like that. Yeah. Within 48 hours, we'll have 50% of that leg done. It will just come screaming down like that, and it'll either be a Canadian or an Australian news event, and they will just unwind 50% or at least 50% of it. If you look at it, the entire leg, we've got at least a 60-70% retracement available until support. So this propulsion gap here, beautiful downside target. So yeah, if you're in it, you were likely in it from the initial breakout, looking at that. So yeah, I mean, you're probably in sort of 4 positions on it, maybe 4 trades in a position at the moment. So that's a really nice trade. When that gets down to there, that's going to be massively profitable if you hold it. So really good looking opportunity on that one. ADRs, there aren't any. Your RSIs today, Aussie CAD, obviously. If you look at the 4 hours, there are no hourly RSI extensions today. If you look at the 4 hours, obvious. So 4 hour RSI extension above 80. We've got divergence above 80. Look, this is unusual to have bearish divergence above the 80 level. It's really strong signal for shorts. But timing is obviously one thing you're not able to do in the markets. No one can time the markets. I mean, how many people tell you they can time the markets? I can show you 50% of their trades which they're not timing the markets because they get them wrong. So you can't time the markets, but they give you clues, and that is a massive clue. Huge bearish divergence, huge propulsion gaps. Yeah, every single one of these is a target that is going to be met on the way back down. So in exactly the same way as we're meeting all these targets on the way up, their previous targets on the way down. Yeah. So this is all downside targets we're going to hit. So we've got that big extension on Aussie CAD, which is obvious. Aussie Swiss, again, as I said, the Aussie doing very well at the moment. Aussie Swiss just tapping up almost into that 80 level. So again, another nice looking short opportunity when we get some weakness coming in. Aussie Yen also extended to the upside, very big extension above 80 again. Anything above the 80 level, really good opportunity. This thing's kind of just flag broken because we had that news about the president or prime minister resigning. Which weakened the yen. So again, I think there's a massive snapback coming on this. There's just no targets down here. So that's really your only propulsion target to the downside, which is around about 175 ADR. So when this goes, that would be where I'll be looking to target. Euro odd, again, Australian dollar, really strong. That one's just starting to turn now, look. So we did break out that monthly level there. We've tapped into that propulsion gap and we're retesting. So potentially nice little push back up into here, but we've got loads of upside room. Euro yesterday, Lagarde not changing interest rates. So we got the Euro rate at 2.15. Overall, it was very quiet from the press conference for a change. If we go back and look at yesterday's press conference, no further rate cuts required to deliver 2% inflation, despite new economic projections, blah, blah, blah. Eurozone experiences another major shock. Borrowing costs stay where they are for some time. So stability is what they are forecasting. So if we find the press conference, which is back here, there we are. So this is Lagarde's press conference. As you can see, very little red in there. What did Barrier Man do yesterday? Oh, we didn't see Barrier Man. They cut him out. 3 Fed cuts by the end of 2025. They're really ramping that dollar drop up. Risk to economic growth are more balanced, so we're happy where we are. Disinflation is over, so dropping interest rates, done. Continue to be in a good place. Inflation is where it wants to be. As long as that CPI number remains stable and doesn't fly to the upside, we should see no difference in the euro from a bullish or bearish perspective. So totally neutral on that euro now. So money markets place 50% chance on 25% ECB rate cut June 2026. So basically what we're saying is we should stay completely flat on those interest rates from now on until we get to the middle of next year, unless something happens, obviously, in between. So, yeah, so really nice, stable interest rates. So there we go. So that's your drop that we've had from that 4.25, and then we've basically steady down into 2.15, and that is exactly where we're going to be staying from now. So yeah, very nice and nice to read the euro. So basically, euro is going to be a whipping boy in the market, which it was sort of as we came out of COVID. So it means that if the dollar rallies, euro US dollar drops. If the dollar drops, euro US dollar will rise just by default. But there's no reason for the euro to move independently. It is just stable now. So that's really good to know. Euro odds obviously being smashed at the moment by the Australian dollar. So if that Australian dollar then suddenly starts to weaken, this is going to fly up, not because the euro is strong, but because the Australian dollar is weak, neutral, and strength or weakness will drive the direction of that one. So yes, euro odd. Tempting another run on the highs on the DAX. We've got pound odd, same pair. Pretty much trade one or the other. They are highly correlated. So trade one or the other. You've got the same thing happening on both. They've both broken out of monthly lows. We're in new territory. We've obviously got lovely upside targets. We're waiting for some weakness to squeeze into that Australian dollar. Pound New Zealand, again, very much the same as the pound odd. It's a little bit different because obviously we've had that difference in strength in the Aussie and the New Zealand. But that one's extended and embedded as well. Not very nice movement on that. And Euro New Zealand, same thing. Yeah, so these two basically are the same thing. These two are the same thing. Don't trade both. You're just overexposing yourself. So there we go. So there's your 4-hour RSI extensions. Let's just see where we're going on the DAX. Still nowhere. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This is your 30-minute candle. So that is your TPO, your time price opportunity candle. The first 30 minutes designate basically whether we're going to go into rotation out of that high and that low, or whether we're going to break out and go into a trend. So nice break today, eventually when we get one, hopefully. I am now 4 positions in pound odd. Pound odd. So I guess you're in from there. Maybe. Yeah, that's about right. We broke it out to the downside. This area here was your first pullback after that propulsion move. So all of these propulsion gaps that you see here are kind of one big breakout, basically. So if we scroll out a little bit more, that is the previous high and that previous high there. So this breakout leg here broke out of all of these levels. Yeah, so this whole area here is buyers. So this is where you're going to potentially find some support short term there. Yeah. So if you are, you're only 4 positions in, 4 trades in. So it's debatable whether you should be looking at aggressive drawdown control here. But if you did want to, if we were to hit ADR today, that is going to coincide with potential support after a very protracted down leg. That would be your exit. So yeah, looks good. Just didn't work on the first. And this is the beauty of position trading, isn't it? If it doesn't work, doesn't matter. You take the next. Yeah, you scale in until it hits the next level. It will always hit a level it's going to react at. Yeah. So if you got in short here and it didn't work there, it worked there and it worked there. Yeah. So we're not trying to, and this is what I say, we're not trying to time the market. We know the market is going to pull back. We just don't know when. But we look for where it's previously reacted, and those typically will become at least bounce points, if not full turning points, retracements. So you got a nice little 15-minute reversal gone in this morning. Well, not quite actually, nearly. Just about to get that potential reversal in the next sort of 15, 30 minutes potentially. I'm trading both pairs with half the risk. Yep, we can do that. Morning, Pot DJ. Gold. I don't know what's going on with gold. Sideways. It's a dollar cross. Dollars weak. Up. At the moment. Until we get some news otherwise on dollar, it should be heading up. And it is. So just to quickly cover the plan moving forward. Yeah, that's exactly where my first position was. No major drawdown yet, so not looking aggressive yet, no. Obviously this members website is all done now. So we've got the economic calendar, obviously with all the previous data in there. We've got the fundamental analysis section where we can just go and look at what's going on at the moment with each individual currency and what's going on with everything to do with that currency. Deep dive, differential analysis, there's AI analysis for everything, each individual currency pair, etc. We've got the retail sentiment section, which is obviously showing you what is strong and weak at the moment from a retail perspective, so you can take contrarian trades. We've got the sentiment analysis over time with obviously price data. We've got the currency strength system, which gives you an indication of how things are going on different time frames, whether things are powering up, whether things are weakening. We've got the indicator dashboards where you can create your own dashboards. We've got the ADR dashboard. We've got the RSI dashboards. You can create your own indicator dashboards as well. So that's all set up and running. The ADR one takes a little bit of time to load at the moment. I'm going to look at a way to sort of speed this up at some point. Once it's loaded, it's fine. So it's just a case of, there is one ADR today on silver, apparently. XAG, yeah, not on my chart. 77 of 91. Oh, that's because I've got a 75% column. Yeah, so there are no ADRs today. There is something that's hit 75% of his ADR. Know your product. So yeah, anyway, that's available. We've got the correlation analysis system where you can build portfolios and baskets for position trading. All this is going to be gone through in the training. You've got your trading metrics where you can upload and link your accounts, download the EA to automatically sync your data, and that will do AI analysis of your trading for you, etc., etc. We've got the MT4 builder, which will build EAs and indicators if you want to. And if you become an elite member, you get access to every single EA included as well. So in here, you've got basically different membership plans. It's totally free for all of this stuff, most of it. Which is all listed there. If you want to become a pro member, you get access to all the education, which is what I'm going to cover in a second. Elite, you get access to all the education and you get a load of extra stuff as well, which is basically the EAs. The main difference between these two is you get all the EAs and you get loads and loads of extra interactions with AI, basically. So it's that basically is what you're paying for. So it means basically you don't have to buy any of the EAs. So more targeted at new members that haven't got the EAs, really. So the education side of it, this is what the plan is now. So the live streams, I am going to do a few free ones a week, which will be normal live streams like this, which are going to be on YouTube, probably still. And I'm pretty sure they are still going to be on YouTube. And those are going to be your sort of Q&A sessions, a weekly kickoff session on a Monday, so we can go through what news events are coming up, look at opportunities for news, trading, and obviously trading DAX, ORB, that sort of stuff. Then we're going to have this section here, which starts here. So this is going to be what is going to be the basis of what I'm going to do and spend all my time on, which is education side of things. So it's going to be going through everything you need, I think you need, and cutting all the crap out, basically. So these are free lessons here, as you can see. This is the Trading 101. There's 18 lessons on here at the moment. This will expand as we go along. But we're going to look through everything you need to know to be successful in trading. So understanding why markets move, what you're going to expect from your capital, what to do with your capital. If you've got $300 in your bank, you're not going to be able to position trade. So let's look at what you can do with $300. What are the options? So this is basically setting you up for being realistic in trading. We're going to look at how economic data affects the market. We're going to look at 3 different types of strategy there are, how to plan your trades, average daily range, obviously key. This is how everything moves. You need to understand that. How support and resistance works, candlesticks, market structure, price action, indicators, building your own strategies, and back testing. Yeah. All the key things. There's nothing else you can tell me that needs to go in here. If you do, it will either be covered in here or it's not relevant, and I don't think you need it. Yeah. So this is all you need to know. Then we're going to go into specific trading strategies. So if you are trading prop, this is going to be a prop firm course. I will be trading prop with you, and we will be going through all this education. So what's the difference between CFDs and futures in prop? Which one is best for you? How do you want to trade? How many hours a day have you got to trade? If you cannot be on your computer at 2:30 in the afternoon, you cannot trade futures and prop. You have to trade CFDs. Yeah. So it's steering people in the right direction. Half the people that contact me are struggling because they are flying left, right, and center, and they haven't got a clue where they need to be. So this is more me steering you in the right direction. For example, I've got people saying, I've been trading for 15 years and I just can't crack it. I've done this, 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 I've done this. None of it's working. Ask one simple question. I don't understand what you mean. Right, go back to square one. You've missed a massive bit at the beginning, which is risk-reward ratio. Yeah, you're flying around following everything and it's just not working. So this steers you in the right direction as to which way you got to go with prop specifically, because that's what everyone wants to do now. So how to manage your risk, multi-account approaches, all the strategies that I trade on prop, basic price action, fundamentals. It's all about risk reward. Very, very simple. We're broken short. That's what we're going to risk. That's what our reward will be. Our target is going to be X per day to get our evaluation over the line. When we get our evaluation over the line, we get a load more evaluations and we turn that funded one into a lower risk and let it milk it. Yeah. So it's basically how to make money in prop. Economic news strategy. So this is a strategy I've been trading for ages. But it's basically how to trade the news. Yeah. So more how not to trade the news, which is what everybody does wrong. So and every week we get this massive opportunity where the markets give us the exact time they are going to go parabolic. Yeah. People struggle with how to make money out of it. Most people try to straddle trade it and end up losing a fortune. You get filled, you put a pending there, you put a pending there, you wait for the news, you get filled there, your stop loss is down there, you lose twice as much as you wanted to because of slippage, and it all goes wrong. This is what most people tend to do in news trading. That's not the way to do it. So it's going to be the fade or the pop strategy, basically, which appears after the news. And I'm going to teach you all about that, how that works. And we'll be trading all the news events, basically. So learn it, and then trade it. Yeah. And that will all be in the live streams, live calendar, basically. Will be set up with all the news events that we're going to trade. And those news events will be like 5-minute streams. It's all going to be on Zoom, so you can talk as well. So it's going to be quick. Yeah. So we're going to come on at whatever time the news is this afternoon. So if I'm not already on, but it'll be 3 o'clock. We'll come on at 3:15 and we'll see how the reaction's been. It'll be a case of, right, this is what the reaction is. Doesn't look like there's anything we can do with this one. Great. See you on Monday. That's the stream, because there's nothing to talk about. If it hasn't moved, it hasn't moved. You can't do anything with it. Yeah. So it's learning basically that. Then the position trading bootcamp, I'm going to go through the full bootcamp again. So what it is, how we eliminate stop losses from the strategy, the 3 key rules, dangers and downsides, planning, examples, lot multiplication, average positioning, drawdown control, elastic band theory, indicators you're going to need, strategy examples, aggressive drawdown control. There's a few other lessons I'm going to squeeze into that as well. So we will go through the entire position trading bootcamp as well. And then there's going to be a big section on back testing and strategy development. This is 90% of your job. Yeah. This is why this isn't fleshed out yet, because it's a massive subject. So this is the key. If you do not do this, you will not make money. The amount of people who buy an EA, not mine, or, it could be mine, could be anybody's, but the people I converse with are the people that got mine. They put it on a chart and go, oh, this isn't working. It's crap. No, it's not. It's normal. No, it's not working. No, it is working. You don't know what it's meant to do you? Because you haven't done the important bit. What are you expecting this to do? Win every time? No, it's not how it works. This isn't trading, is it? So this is the bit that really is going to hammer home for most people. We're going to trade a load of strategies in the back tester, and we're going to show you how shit 99% of strategies are. Yeah. And then you'll understand what affects a strategy. And this is why I say there's only 3 strategies available to you. Every single mean reversion strategy has to have the same risk reward structure, basically, to work. They're all the same. I don't care if you use Bollinger Bands, RSI, CCI, MACD, stochastics. I don't care what you're using for mean reversion trading. They're all going to be the same thing. You're waiting for a push, you get in, you set an area where that trade is invalid, and you take a reward. But the reward is going to expect that to happen, so it cannot be big. Yeah. I can backtest 1,000 mean reversion strategies. The inputs will all give me the same outcome. Yeah. So it's understanding how to backtest, what backtest is telling you to identify where edges lie. There aren't many of them out there. Yeah. That's an edge. That's an edge. And ORB kind of falls into that, is an edge. I have 3 of them. Yeah. There's about 24 hours worth of me explaining that there's only really 3 things you can do in the markets to make money. So that's basically what I'm planning to do. So with each of these, at the moment, it says live lesson delivery. The lesson will be delivered in an interactive session. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, and that's my job today, is schedule every single lesson into the calendar, which is here. Yeah, so you'll be able to see every day what's coming up on the calendar. And then you can either attend those if you want to, which is great. And then we'll have interaction and we can do it together. Or if you can't make it, the session will be recorded, and then when you go into that lesson, it will appear like that. So you can watch it. Yeah. And then we've got a Q&A here, which is going to be an ask question. So if you can't make the lives and you can't ask the questions, or a question comes up after the lesson, ask it in here, basically, and then I get a little section in the site which gives me a list of all the questions, and then every week we will do a weekly Q&A. Yeah, and I will answer all of those questions about whatever we've covered that week. So it's going to be quite a long process to get all of this content done, and then when we get to the end of it, start again, and you can attend what you want. So it's basically a case of the things that you struggle with, you can come back to, and we will do them over and over again. Literally every month, we will just hammer the same content because it's the same thing. It's all about repetition. Making money in markets is about repetition. Doing the same thing that works over and over again, not getting distracted, not hopping off here, not going, oh, this indicator looks good. I don't like the way this does this. I'm going to change it. It works. Do it. That's it. So we just repeat it. And that's basically the plan. But you'll be doing it with me. You'll be seeing me doing it, obviously, in the live rooms. We'll have accounts going for each strategy so that we can monitor it all. Obviously, what I'll probably do is put trading metrics up for every single strategy and every single account so we can see how they're all doing. And they're going to have bad points. They're going to have good points. We're going to see the pops, the drops, the lot. Yeah, which is what I've been doing for the last 5 years on YouTube anyway. But I want to bring it in here so that I'm not distracted by what you can't see over there, which is Discord and Telegram and the number of messages I have to deal with in there, which means I don't get anything done. So this is where I'm going to give all of my focus, basically. This is what I want to do. For development purposes, obviously, I will still be doing strategy development myself, and I'll do it in here as well. So we'll be able to sort of in the strategy development section, I will probably have a breakout every week or two where I'll just suddenly go, I've got an idea for a strategy, and we'll build an EA, we'll back test it, and we'll go from there. But like I said, the position trading EA allows you to trade virtually any position trading strategy because you've got buttons. So, you know, it's automated in the fact that it uses RSI and ADR for initial entries. So you don't need any other products apart from that. That does everything you need. If you want to trade support resistance manually, which is partly what we're going to do with CFD prop trading, this does everything you need it to do. Yeah. That's for scalping. Yeah. ORB, automation of entries into that for CFDs and for your own capital, and SIH if you want to use it. That's for monitoring the trades. There aren't any other EAs that I need. If I have another strategy I create, it will be a variation of one of these pieces of kit, so I can amend it. But as for developing new strategies, I've got a new 1 minute ORB strategy, which works on the 1 minute chart. At the end of the day, it's this. It's a variation of it. All variation. Everything is a variation of the same thing. It's a breakout strategy. It's a trend strategy, or it's a mean reversion strategy. Yeah, that's all there is. This is mean reversion. This is breakout. I don't really trade trend because it's bloody hard, and you'll see why. But, you know, trend trading strategies are basically pullback continuations. So, you know, you can use Fibonacci, we can use whatever we want. And we'll go through that when we do the 3 different types of strategies there are. But that's the plan. Okay, so that's everything that I've got in there at the moment. I'm fleshing this out at the moment, getting all the content in there, lesson plans, all this sort of stuff. And I'm going to get the live calendar scheduled, hopefully today. And then it'll be ready to go possibly next week, if not the week after. So what I'm planning to do is just do an announcement of, right, this is now the live room schedule. If you want to join in, join in. If you don't, don't. But I don't want to give complete access to this yet because I am still tweaking and working on stuff. But it's 99% there. There's a couple of other sections I need to add. But once that is up and running and done, everyone can see what they get, and then it's you know, you can decide what you want to do. But I will still be doing free live streams, obviously, just not as many because I want to focus on just really doing it once and doing it properly, basically. Let me catch up on the chat. Mumble not using stops. Will DD control if it starts to get away from me? Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I missed half that conversation, didn't I think? Morning, Virginia. Miss you saying hello. How to use the new tools? The news tool. There'll be a lesson on that. Morning, Joshua. Right, that's it. That's all I've got for you today. There's nothing much else to cover on here because everything is basically, at the moment, either massively extended on the Australian dollar or not moving at all. ORB today, we are short. So watch downside support here, 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 and here. Obviously, low of day yesterday. So those are your areas to the downside. I'll mark them up. We can have a look at them this afternoon. As well. That's that. This and this and that and that. It's all the same level, isn't it? So we'll see where we go. But these are the areas you want to be watching to the downside today. So if you see the market starting to bounce down those levels, just be aware. So that's your risk today. So we've got 1.5. That's the ideal, is hitting that 2R, basically. That's where the TP is going to be this afternoon, this morning. And we'll see where we go. So if you've got any questions on any of that, chuck me just ask in Discord. But I will allow access to this. I really want to get this on a dedicated host so that it's going to be able to handle traffic. At the moment, I think it might grind a little bit to a halt. It should be okay, but it's not on a high-powered server at the minute. So I'm just kind of want to get it there first. And obviously, everything that's going to be done in here will be done via Zoom. So it's very easy for everybody to access. I give a link out. Basically, you download Zoom, and it's all done in Zoom. Much easier than YouTube and two-way. And it's fantastic. I've been playing around with it. But there will be a learning curve with Zoom. Be prepared. Will the M10R be available for sale? I don't know. I mean, I can make one available for sale, yeah. But if you, become a member. If you become an elite member, you get it. It's all be included in there. Right, I'm going to leave you there because I've got to rush out this morning. But we'll see how that DAX goes at the moment. It's not, it's getting there, but it's not particularly in a rush today, is it? So we'll have a look at that this afternoon. I'll be back at 2:30 this afternoon. We'll obviously trade the rest of the indices, see how those go. Be aware there's no news today until we get to Michigan. So that's all we've got today is University of Michigan stuff. So really, we'll see how we go with that. But I'm not expecting massive things this afternoon, but it is Friday afternoon. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. All right, so anything else you need, let me know. I'll be Discord or Telegram. Other than that, have a good morning, and I will see you this afternoon. Have a good day.